Stephen, did it get picked? Okay, all right. Let's call the meeting to, or is everybody ready? Call the meeting to order at 7:04. Everybody stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there any public comment? Public comment going once, public comment going twice, public comment going 3 times. Thank you. Can I have approval for the minutes from the December 26, 2024 special meeting that was tabled at the January 7th, 2025 meeting?
Make a motion to approve the December 26, 2024 special meeting.
Second.
Motion by Trish, second by Al. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
It's just
Motion.
abstain.
Abstentions, Bob Finley. Motion carries 501. Please note Bob Finley's abstention. Thank you. Item number 5, approval of the minutes from the January 7th regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the January 7th 2025 regular meeting.
Motion by Trish Danka,
Second.
second by Bob Finley. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. I'm sorry, abstentions. Chair votes aye, motion carries 601. Please note Al Bruno's abstention. Sorry, I keep forgetting you weren't there. Discussion and presentation of the winners of the student contest to name the park at the corner of Broad Street and River Road. Selectman Stanek, I will turn this over to you.
Thank you, Madam First Selectwoman. We conducted a contest among our students from grades 4 to 12 in the Seymour Public Schools to name the park at the corner of Broad Street and River Road. It's often called Broad Street Park. It's been called Champions Park, Seymour Vietnam Korean Park, other names over the years. And it's a beautiful park, and we thought that it would be appropriate to name it. So we are soliciting the support of the input from students, and Stephanie Chacon, assistant principal at Sheffield Little Trustee School, took over the coordination of the program of the contest, and we had 17 entrants. And tonight we have the 2 winners, the winner and the runner-up, the second place winner. The second place winner is Mackenzie Blood. And Mackenzie, we would like you to read your essay to us.
Stephen, is that microphone on? Okay, so Mackenzie, just go up to the podium.
The Seymour Park should be named the Broad River Community Park. It shows the 2 streets the park is on, and the 2 names work well together. Because Broad has a meaning of wide, and River Street is actually by a quite wide river, this name makes it work perfectly. This name also has a nice flow to it, making it easy to remember and possibly attracting more people to go there compared to somewhere else. Public places, such as parks, should have names similar to where they are so they could be easier to locate, and the name I have chosen helps follow that belief. Not having to think of the name of the park and where it is may make it easier for people to get there and better enjoy their time. This name also shows that everyone is allowed and everyone should come and enjoy the park. Bringing a stronger sense that everyone is welcome, it can make our community stronger and more together. It shows it's a perfect place for families, friends, and anyone who wants to help our community grow. Also, with this name, people will think of the river that is there and may want to see it. This name is appealing to me because it makes me think of the beautiful wide river with bright blue flowing water that sparkles in the sun. I can imagine hearing the water splashing around and flowing through the rocks, the smell of nature and fresh water all around you. I could also imagine people going down and feeling the relaxing cold water, and I feel this name could help people think of all these appealing details. When people hear Broad River Community Park, these are the details they would think of, what images will come into their mind. This is why the park should be called the Broad River Community Park.
Very good.
Very nice.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Mackenzie, we have a gift certificate for you. It's a $50 gift certificate for entering the contest and being the second place winner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
And I should mention that the awards committee, consisting of Trish Danka, Al Bruno, and myself, made the decisions, who the winners are this evening. What we did, we had 17 entrants, and my paralegal redacted the names of the entrants. So we as committee members did not know who the entrants were. And so there was total objectivity in making a decision. And as far as the funds for the gifts, these gifts are not funded by the taxpayers, but by donations.
Great.
Congratulations, Mackenzie. And our first place winner is Alexandra Serwani. Alexandra, congratulations. We'd like you to come forward.
Located at 41 degrees, 23.531 minutes north, 73 degrees, and 4.559 minutes west, is a Seymour historical marker that summarizes the history of our beloved town. Unfortunately, the short inscription on this weathered blue board is what we view as appreciation towards the people who made Seymour the great town it is today. From 1738, Chewstown, after Chief Chews, a scout in the French and Indian War. This brief reference is the only remaining testament to the individual after whom our town was originally named. Chief Joseph, also known as Heinmont Tuilakhegt, was a prominent leader of the Nez Perce tribe, celebrated for his efforts to protect his people from the United States government, which sought to displace them from their ancestral territories. To honor the chief, who had been given the nickname of Chews, the settlers designated the small area as Chewstown. On the very land once devoted to this courageous leader, only a solitary line acknowledges him. His extraordinary journey included leading his people on a flight across the Bitterroot Mountains into Montana to evade governmental removal and advocating for their rights by visiting President Rutherford B. Hayes to demand their return to the Northwest. Today, his dedication is reflected in a mere line of faded white text on the historical marker. To truly honor Chief Chews' commitment, it would be fitting to establish a park that the citizens of Seymour can enjoy and cherish, named in his honor. This would not only pay tribute to the history of our town, but also symbolize our community's appreciation for Chief Chews' courage. The proposed Chews Park would serve as a modern place of peace and harmony, embodying the same spirit Chief Chews expressed when he stated, "From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever."
Very good.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Alexandra, we have a $100 gift certificate for you. Thank you. And I think Trish had a comment about the two names.
Go ahead.
Well, I liked them both. Did I have a comment last meeting that I have forgotten about? But
You suggested the possibility of combining the two names.
I did. It's funny that you both wrote the essays that you did because, to your point, it's very prominent where the location is and will help people navigate there to see a beautiful river that we are very proud to have. And Chief Chews, that is our history, and when you look at the history of our town, it's really quite a story if people take the time to research that. So it was, and I think we've all talked, in fact, it was on all of our minds that this is why the two of your essays really stood out. So really great job. Thank you.
We are going to have a public hearing on February 4th to consider what name we would like to ultimately name the park. So that you two as winners today, your names are not necessarily going to be the name of the park, but you're welcome to come to the hearing and present your essays again to the public and make your arguments why you think your names might be appropriate. We may take some variation of one of the names.
Yeah. Teresa, since you're on the phone, do you have anything to say?
Now, I would like to thank the awards committee for doing all this work, and for our two award winners. They were excellent essays. Personally, I was always a little bit more in favor of the Chief Chews. As I always said, he was he's on our motto and our flags here. You really captured the essence of that park. The way you just started off with the location and using all the coordinates for it. I look forward to having you do more research and more history in the town of Seymour, because we need to preserve that for oncoming generations. So again, thank you both for taking the time to write these excellent essays.
Thank you. Al?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the two of you. Like Fred said, it was all objective. We didn't know any names. So thank you for taking the time and going through that exercise and being part of your community and having a say. I think it's very important for young people to do that. So hopefully you'll come out to that meeting Fred was referring to, put forth your essay, and we'll see what it gets named. But excellent job to you both.
Trish, you already had yours?
Congratulations. Excellent job. I love the creativity and the vision in both of the presentations because they both touched on very important items and you captured it. So that was a great job. Both of you.
And I think it's great that you participated in an academic competition because we're used to being involved in athletic competitions. But thank you very much for your time and your essays.
Thank you. Thank you both for being involved, for taking the time to research the history, for taking the time to take part of the academic competition, history essay. It's wonderful to see our younger generation becoming active and taking a part in our town because you are the next leaders of our town. You are the ones that are going to be here after we are. And it's important that you learn about your town, the history of our town, because even though our town changes, our history will never change, and we have to remember our history and honor our history. So I want to thank you both for doing what you've done, and we look forward to seeing you here at the February 4th meeting.
And if I may comment
Absolutely.
one more time, I'd like to thank all the entrants, the participants in the competition for the reasons that we already stated, and we look forward to other entrants who might want to participate in the hearing on February 4th. Thank you. And I want to thank Stephanie Chacon, Mrs. Chacon, for coordinating the contest.
Absolutely. Great, thank you. Item number 7, discussion and possible action regarding a use of LASSIP funds for an ice skating rink at the Seymour Community Center and B, a drive-in movie theater. We're tabling this, correct? Can we table this because we may not need to use the LOSIP money for this?
Can we use LOSIP money for a new clock for this?
Possibly. I'll think about it. All right, can I have a motion?
Unfortunately, LoSiP funds are, the clock is not in LoSiP or capital.
Can I have a motion to table item number 7, please?
Motion to table the use of LoSiP funds for an ice skating rink and drive-in movie theater at the community center.
Second.
Motion by Trish, second by Al. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0-0. Thank you. We'll take a short recess, 5-minute recess. Play some Jeopardy music. Do, do, do. All right. Okay. Stephen, are you ready? All right. Number 8, discussion and possible action regarding the request from tax collector to abate tax on 25 Walnut Street. Last meeting, we went through and we approved the Walnut Street abatement. However, we need to make that its own separate agenda item to, so the tax collector can have it on record. So I'm going to read into the minutes, a memo from the office of the tax collector, and it's dated December 19th to the Board of Select Persons from Dana Flack, the tax collector, regarding the abatement on 25 Walnut Street. As you know, 25 Walnut Street, the town purchased it due to an ongoing, can I say legal issue? Legal issue, okay. The town of Seymour now owns 25 Walnut Street per volume 640, page 472, which is recorded on October 21, 2024. Please abate the January 2025 installment on bill number 2023-01-20850 in the amount of $3,191.27. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, Dana Flack, the tax collector. Can I have a motion to abate the taxes on 25 Walnut Street, which the town has owned since October 21, 2024?
Make a motion to abate the taxes on 25 Walnut Street in the amount of $3,191.27.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Okay, that was number 8. Number 9, discussion and possible action regarding the Board of Select Persons' recommendation for considerations for the charter revision. So as you recall, I had the CAO send an email out to the 7 board members, including myself, asking for their recommendations to put forward to the Charter Revision Committee, which will be meeting January 7th on a Monday. January 27th, Monday at 6 o'clock here at Town Hall. Right? So we're going to go through. I want the committee, the board members to discuss why you feel you want these charter revisions in so that we can make a motion to read into the minutes to present to the Charter Commission Committee, as we've done in the past. Bob, we'll start with you. Do you have your minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Wait, should we go with Pat Lombardi because he's not here, and just move this way down the table? All right, I will read Pat's in. I can't explain because he's not here, so I can't read for him. I don't understand. Okay. Section 5.1, the general powers and duties. Change the wording of the word he in the second sentence. Excuse me. Section 5.2a, small a. Same as indicated, this pertains to all sections of the charter. Section 12.1, list the appointed boards and terms in office. Add emergency management director to this section. 12.3, Economic Development Commission. Clarify and add the specific Connecticut General State Statute number for this section. Section 12.6, Board of Fire Commissioners. Section 12.61, Fire Marshal's Department. Section 12.62, Office of Emergency Medical Services. The charter references the Connecticut General State Statutes, which lack any specific number. Adding the above will make these sections consistent with other sections of the charter containing statute numbers. Also consider creating duties and responsibilities. Section 12.9, Park Commissions. Consider merging with Public Works Department. Section 12.19, Emergency Management Director. Delete the second sentence in its entirety as a charter does not contain a Section 7.5 consideration should be given to the Connecticut General State Statute number. Add duties and responsibilities to this section. Section 14.3, Annual Town Meeting. Town General Government and Board of Education budget should be combined as one question as it relates to an adjourned town meeting. Section 4.4, Fiscal Process. Section 15.2, Special Town Meeting. Consider increasing the $100,000 appropriation to $125,000. That was it for Pat's.
And if I could, Madam First Selectman, through you, the spots where Pat has just section, as an example, section 14.4 fiscal process,
Yes.
he's asking for review of the overall section in general, not anything specific per se.
Just to review those sections.
Section, yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, Bob is next.
So some of mine are general, more general. I didn't like, so I referenced some sections, but like my first is there a way within the charter? And again, I don't know if it can be done, and I'm really looking at it from a legal standpoint, to add more like actions and reporting methods within the charter. Even if we set up boards, how we appropriate the boards, how do we get a board's vision and mission? Can we add something that, because I feel like we have a lot of words in there, we create a lot of boards, but when I look at maybe some of the directions of those boards and how we get them kick-started, I'm not sure that we have a common process to do that. So can a charter reference like a process or a process?
You mean like electing officers and meetings and things like that? Or something?
So the meetings are one thing, but can it be mandated that the board has to have a clear vision?
Well, when you create the board, however you create it, you're either forming a board allowed under state statute, a zoning commission, a zoning board of appeals, something like that, where they have to follow the statutes, or it could be under an ordinance or under the charter, but it's going to have to define. There's got to be some source of its function, its charge, its purpose, somewhere. So it should be. You don't just say we're forming a whatever
Right.
commission and leave it at that.
But I'm trying to tie it to the strategic plan in some way.
He's looking at reporting measurements for each board commission. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
I
that's-
believe reporting. So if you have a clear statement of duty that's actionable, what Bob is saying is each board, commission, and committee should probably have a reporting mechanism. How does this get reported back so that it can tie back to the strategic plan and how they are contributing and
To the overall town strategy. Because it seems like, again, we have all these individual boards, and the charter defines those boards, but it doesn't tie them together. They're just these unique boards. And again, I don't know if it cannot be. I was just thinking out loud to myself.
what
that
act,
there's-
so it's more like what actionable items within all these boards and committees tie back to the strategic plan, and then how does that get reported back to show that it's
that is being done, right?
right moving forward?
Like the finance section actually had, well, finance is pretty clear. There was an actual reporting that's a component of the finance plan in the charter. But none of the other boards had any reporting.
No, and that's just the way it's set up. Remember, your charter is look at it like the Constitution, compared to the U.S. Constitution. It defines the organization, the powers, functions, and the essential procedures of town government. So that's what it is. It's not an operational document. It's not a document.
But it can reference
job
an
description.
operational document or not. I think that's where.
It's not really, its purpose is not to be that operational document. It's your form of government. It's setting up your form of government. It's setting up, the powers, functions, and duties of the different boards and commissions. And they all have their roles. Well, they may not, you can have what was the commission you just referred to?
Well, the finance actually had reporting.
Not the finance, but George just said it. Strategic
Strategic
plan.
plan.
You can have a strategic plan commission that can request input from all the different boards and commissions. For instance, you have a police commission. you have a board of fire commissioners. The police commission has certain roles, certain things they have to do regarding the appointment of a chief, regarding the operation of a department. But they don't have to come and report to you weekly, monthly, whenever. There's certain times they do have to come. They have to present a budget. They have to go through the budget process. But there's nothing else saying when they have to come. If the Strategic Plan Commission wants to look at their functions differently, it can do that. It can request the other bodies in. But I'm not sure what directives you're trying to give it, because I don't think they really go in the charter. I'm not sure what you're trying to
Again,
adopt.
I wasn't sure if it could or not.
It's really not a
But I
purpose of the
just-
charter. The church, that getting into that level of detail.
Then where would you do it?
Well, what's an example if you want someone to, give me an example, maybe a more concrete example.
Hold on,
Okay.
hold on. Can I just show you mine? So, is it more like along this?
Yeah, that's kind of where, that's exactly what it is. So, like she wrote, one of the ones she wrote, so it's, when we create a board,
Uh-huh.
right, making sure there's a clear reason of what the board's responsibilities are, why they're put
And that should be in
together.
the charter already. That's something that should be there when they're created, whether it's a committee or a commission by statute or in the charter. It should have either a reference to the Connecticut General Statutes, like the Police Commission does. It has the powers of police commissions. The Board of Finance has powers of the Board of Finance by the statutes, or you have to define its powers, what it's responsible for. A rec commission responsible for this, that, and whatever.
Like what their mission
The
is.
mission, their jurisdiction, if you will, to use that term.
So, but there could be language in the charter that drives mission. Then,
There should be, well, you can't just create something and not give it any powers. If it's in the charter, if there's something in the charter, it has to have powers. And we can look at that. We can look
yeah,
at
I
all
don't
the
think
boards.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's clear within the charter the way I read it, but maybe.
We can look at that. I mean, that's something that's a suggested, a potential area they can look at as they go through everything to see if it is clearly defined what the jurisdiction of the various boards and commissions.
Okay, that's fair.
are.
A review of that.
Yeah.
On section 15.2, we had the need to hold a special town meeting. There were some items listed, like E and F, I don't have them written down here. Do they have to have all items listed? I think we maybe can shorten that down, the special town meetings of why you would have to have them. Because there was a couple in there that just didn't make sense to me to have. Should we add something, do we need to, again, maybe it's not in a charter, but we were talking about the ability to remotely participate in meetings like we're doing today. Do we need to add that to the charter? Is that something that we should define how it's done?
Isn't that allowed by Connecticut statute, Brian, at this point, after
Statute
COVID?
addresses that.
Well, then we
Yeah.
should probably reference it within our charter then, that we're given the ability to do that. We got Teresa's doing it now. I'd love to do it when I'm
I
traveling
mean,
if
it's
I can.
statute, so.
Public Act 22-4.
So we should probably add that to the charter somewhere. And then, because this is more process, some of this is more process driven, like the clear understanding of agendas. Like, and making sure that we do our agendas. Is there something that in the charter policy that,
It wouldn't really go in the charter. I mean, we have the Freedom of Information Act, and you have Robert's Rules, which
Right.
is followed. So that dictates all that. That really doesn't belong in the charter, how to do your agendas. But you have to follow the FOIA Act, state statutes. And they're different agendas. It could be different commissions may have different timelines for publication of agendas or notifications to people, so.
but I think sometimes the agendas are a little bit vague, and they should have a little bit more detail, so even the people, because, some of these items, if I was just a resident and I pulled up the agenda, it's not clear to me of why, just a
That's
bunch
the
of
purpose
words.
of the agenda, is though to tell you when the meeting is in the general.
Well, you want to have a little bit of an idea of what it's about too.
I think what Bob's talking about is that FOI training that Anne-Marie and Fred were involved in getting put forward, and then nobody attended. So you have people, there's a broad spectrum of understanding what to put in an agenda, right?
And also, remember, you can amend the agenda at a regular meeting by 2/3 vote at the meeting to add anything you want to it. And that's allowable under the Freedom of Information Act and anticipated at regular meetings.
But that doesn't prep the public though, because you're already there and you're making the
The
change.
law provides that that's what you can do.
Gives you that flexibility as a
Okay.
board.
No, like I said, mine were a little bit more what we can and cannot do within the charter. That's all I had on mine.
Trish, you're next.
To Bob's point, I had a few items, and I think we're on the same page, Bob and I, because we are both sat on strategic planning. But I think the town's intent is to maintain a long-term strategic plan of 10 years, or whatever length as recommended by the bond agency. So I would like to see that called out in the charter, to ensure that that is maintained regardless of leadership. In support of that, including the need for public comment at the beginning and the end and of meetings that are held by town boards, commissions, and committees. And I specifically throw that in there because we have had one before that, just for the sake of not caring what was in the strategic plan and didn't like it, refused to do it. And the idea is the town of Seymour is interested in hearing what the public has to say because we're here to serve the public. So along with what Bob was saying in the beginning, I would like to clarify that one of the roles of the town boards, commissions, and committees and its members is to support the adopted town strategic plan that's within the realm of each one's mission. So I think that's what Bob was trying to say, is gearing everyone to understand at least the section or any section of the strategic plan that might tie back to that board, commission, or committee, and ensuring that, I'm saying our chief operating officer, making sure that any newly appointed or elected members, at minimum the chairman, get a copy of anything that is applicable to that group, as well as any timely updates. And I'm also mentioning determine and lay out how these town boards, commissions, and committees maintain accountability to supporting the town's defined mission within the strategic plan. So what's that communication method? And I don't know what that looks like, but at minimum, I'm saying an annual report or some type of communication with the Board of Select Persons.
And I recognize the charter does what the charter does, but we're trying to find that way to how to get it so that the strategic plan is a core component that they can adjust, they can at least know as a board, and then adjust it if they need to, and kind of put that all together. Because they're all these little independent things, you know?
Yeah, that's the form of government and how your government is set up. I mean, you have a strategic plan commission that can be provided and should be provided to all of them. They should be aware of that.
Well, we do, but the goal is not to have a commission and have it supported by the town, because getting volunteers and members to do such a thing has become trying. So we're working on moving it towards the town managing and maintaining the strategic plan, and this is giving it a little bit of backbone.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand what you just said.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Kurt, because I was gonna jump in, because to me,
We're handing it over to the town to manage.
right, so that should be
From
the,
the leadership to manage down to all the departments, because it's been difficult to get volunteers to sit on the committee.
Yeah.
Right.
Through you, Madam First Selectwoman, I think it should be treated like the budget process. So just outlined that a strategic plan each year needs to be presented by such and such a date. Maybe not get into the minutia of the plan itself.
Correct.
But that would, so just similar to what we do with the budget, we don't really get into the minutia of the budget. We just say by a certain date, these actual events have to take place. So maybe do the same thing with the strategic plan.
You're hitting it on the head. Just so it
Start
doesn't
it.
get forgotten about. That's the key.
But tying something in the charter gives the strategic plan, or whatever the reporting agencies, the bonding agencies are saying the town should have to maintain a strong rating, that stated in the charter gives it the backbone to maintain and be supported.
Independent on who's leadership, you know? So-
correct. So I think what you guys are saying is, in the budget, like, for our town of our Board of Finance, it says the budget will be presented to the town clerk to be voted on by the people by such and such date, correct? The strategic plan should be presented to the Board of Select Persons by a such and such date to be voted on and accepted by, but not going into the minutia of
Correct.
what the plan is, because the plan is driven by the department heads, because those are the paid staff,
Your
correct?
budget might be driven by that too, so you'd want to have it
Yes,
before
but we
you
want
drive
the-
your budget.
Yes. And not, I don't, just to state, I'm not sure that every committee or commission is even going to have a role within the strategic plan. I'm not sure, but the important ones should understand their role, and they're volunteers, they're not workers.
Correct.
But they should understand their role and what they're supporting within the town, within the strategic plan. That's the point.
Kurt? What did you have something to say?
No, I could say, it's like the budget process, it could be staff-driven and then reported out to a board for final approval. Again, like the finance process, like the budget process is. It's staff-driven. Through the
That's
boards,
not
and
all
then-
I'm saying, though.
And then, but
It's-
brought to for final approval through the Board of Finance and then
But the
ultimately the
committees
residents.
and
Right.
the commissions have to have, yeah.
They have to understand their role as a committee or a commission or a board, how that supports the strategic plan, if at all. Because we might have a smaller committee that's not really laid out well in the strategic plan, right? So, but when it does, that's where we want the tie-in.
Okay.
Other items, eliminating the need for 50 people to be present at the annual town meeting, or I'm in support of changing our form of government. I haven't seen 50 people in a while. It's been quite a number of years. I'm in support of maintaining a split budget. I understand how we got to the split budget, and it's, I support the Board of Education's budget every year, but I also understand that beforehand, it was always contentious because the moment the budget failed, that's where $1 million was immediately cut. And this gives the Board of Education a chance, if their budget's passed, to not have it cut whatsoever, instead of cut greatly and then little by little until the entire budget passes. At one time, for anyone who wasn't here and, living in Seymour, they did ask for clarification in the beginning of no too high or no too low. And I actually think we had one vote that failed because 7 people said no too low, and a no was a no. So the budget failed, and it would have passed otherwise. So supporting all references within that have selectman or selectmen to select person or select persons. And I'm still in favor of having misspellings corrected and eliminating redundancies that are within, or any contradictions that we see between sections.
Okay. Mine are kind of simple. Section 8B1, do we want the planning and zoning board to be an appointed or elected position? I know at one point it was an appointed and now it's elected, and I think that needs to be looked at again. Section 12.1, do we want to eliminate or change the required list of board and commissions that are in the charter? Either we list them all or we don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or we don't list them at all. Because some boards and commissions can be taken away,
Correct.
With section 12.19, with the potential change to position statuses, do we need to make changes to the emergency management director section? Section 14.3, the annual town meeting, do we want to change the budget submission date to give more time? B, do we want to change the date requirement of the public hearing or town meeting from set date to something like a second Thursday in April? C, eliminate the town meeting to send to referendum and have the board do it? D, should we add an additional public hearing to replace a town meeting? E, do we give the select persons the ability to make changes prior to sending it to referendum? Section 14.4, should we increase the supplemental appropriation limit from 100K? Section 14.4, do we want to increase the amount we go out to bid? Section 15.2, should we change any special town meeting reasons? That's mine. Okay. Al, you didn't have any? Or you didn't submit any?
I was sick last meeting and I didn't have an opportunity to submit it because I hadn't been feeling well. But I would just like to comment how I spent time on a charter revision team back when Paul Roy was first selectman. And I and others spent a considerable amount of time on reviewing that charter and making suggestions, and I don't think anything really materialized from it. So I'm glad we're doing it now. I know we did some other things when Kurt was first selectman. I know we tried to do some other things and they got voted down. But what I'd really like to see is have the grammatical errors and have some general editing of this document, clean it up. I agree with folks who might want to remove or eliminate the annual town meeting. I think it's ancient, it's not useful, it's kind of an impediment to doing business in our community. From what we've seen in the past with some things that have gone down at these meetings, ill-informed individuals, and it's just become a really, really bad thing for our community. It exposes us, it's should go. So I agree with your section 4C. And number 5, should we increase the supplemental appropriation limit from 100,000? I say yes. I just don't have an idea what that number might be. Pat suggested 125. I think that's a pretty fair thing. Maybe you think otherwise as first selectwoman. I'm not married to anything, but I'm listening and taking notes. And I apologize. I've been sick. I'm finally getting over what I've had for 3 weeks, and I just haven't had an opportunity to submit anything in writing. But I have some past experience with the charter revision, even though that was, 14 years ago now, maybe more, 15 plus years. I think I served on that. So I'm listening, I'm taking notes, and I can always share things at a public hearing too, correct?
Correct. So the charter revision meetings are open to the public, and the public can actually come in and a night of their meeting and say, hey, can we look at this section? Could we ask you to look at this section? And again, it's up to the Charter Revision Commission what
Sure.
sections they want to look at.
Sure.
But the meetings are open to the public, and anybody can go and give some input.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I had that as a fallback, because I just haven't had an opportunity to put anything in writing, but I figured I'd listen tonight and get the flavor, so thank you for letting me chime in.
No problem. Fred?
Thank you, Madam First Selectwoman. Some of my items, some of my topics are redundant of what was previously stated. First, change all references to selectmen in the present charter to select persons, and all references to first selectman to first selectman, first selectwoman as appropriate. In section 3.7, make it clear that the officials newly elected officials take office at 12 midnight or 12:01 on the first Monday of December of the year of the municipal election. The way it's worded now, it could be interpreted that office is not taken until the evening when we have the inauguration. Chapters 5 and 6 clarify the general powers and duties of the first selectman, first selectwoman, and board of selectmen persons by providing the following. There are specific statutory requirements of what the board of select persons are to undertake, but I think that there's a general statute also states that this board shall superintend the operations of the town. I think we need a little more clarity on some areas, some of which I gave examples. The Board of Select Persons shall be the appointing authority of all department heads and standalone contract employees for the town of Seymour, not including the Board of Police Commissioners or the Board of Ed. The Board of Select Persons shall be responsible for approving new positions and modifying job descriptions of any employee position. With regard to the Economic Development Commission, clarify the powers, duties, and responsibilities of that commission. Section 14.3, the annual town meeting, I think we have to completely revamp that provision, that entire section. Some specifics I have, others here have already talked about 14.3. The third paragraph, but there's one anomaly. The third paragraph at the bottom of page 29 regarding the Board of Assessment Appeals does not seem to make sense to be included where it is. In the middle, or at the beginning of this section, it states The Board of Assessment Appeals shall meet in the manner provided in Section 12-110 of the general statutes. Just doesn't apply there. As I said, I think we need to revamp the entire Section 14.3. If the essence of 14.3 is to be retained and allow residents to take action at the annual town meeting, amend Section B to eliminate the power to only decrease or delete any appropriation and allow any appropriation to be amended, whether increased or decreased by action of the annual town meeting, if we retain that meeting. Also, if possible, eliminate the requirement of an annual town meeting with members of the public present and just authorize the Board of Select Persons to schedule an adjourned town meeting or referendum. I'm in favor of eliminating the separate votes for town and board of education budgets, which has been attempted in the past. Go back to the original one vote. In section 15.1, the town meeting, eliminate this requirement that the Board of Select Persons must determine by resolution that the failure of a special town meeting to obtain a quorum was not due to inclement weather. I think that's just irrelevant. Finally, because we do not seem to ever receive, very seldom, see 50 members of the public at a town meeting, just provide for a representative town meeting, changing the form of government to a representative form town meeting. Brian is most familiar with that in Fairfield, I believe, and he could probably give us some guidance on how that would work at some point.
I was on the RTM for 10 years, moderator of the RTM's very well represented town meeting.
Okay,
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
great. Teresa?
Okay, so I have quite a list here, and I'm just going to go read right through them. The first one was the chapter. Well, the first thing is like all our language from first selectman or first select woman. Just change it to first select person. I mean, it's just redundant throughout the charter. Easy fix. Chapter 3, underneath general elections, I would like to see that we keep the party affiliation in the charter as it is.
What's that mean?
Chapter 4, organization of boards and compensation of officials, under section 4.1.
Wait, Teresa, can you go back to chapter 3, election, keep party official and charter as is? What's that mean?
So right now, I don't want to see any changes to that part, chapter 3.
What's chapter 3 say?
So it's the party, she's the party
No,
affiliation.
Bob has it.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
the party affiliation, section F, you mean, Teresa, that one?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Section
What's that say?
Any vacancy on elected or appointed board shall be filled by the appointment of a member of the same political party as the person vacating such elected board. In an instance where an unaffiliated voter is elected to a party seat on a party line, and such unaffiliated voter creates a vacancy, said vacancy shall be filled by a member of the party whose line the unaffiliated voter ran. In the instance of where an unaffiliated voter was elected with no party affiliation and creates a vacancy, then such vacancy shall be filled by an unaffiliated voter.
What about appointed boards, though?
Same thing, I just don't want to see any changes to that part of the charter.
Okay.
That's it. All right, back to chapter 4, section 4.1A. I forgot to remove the secretary or the designee shall record the minutes of all meetings and file copies with the town clerk. This seems to be an outdated reference, so even at our first organizational meeting for the board,
Yeah.
we have to elect the secretary, and Fred's our secretary, and we always say, what's the job of this? So it's really, I don't think we need it, so
Okay.
my recommendation, just take that out of the charter.
Okay.
Number D was, I would like to add in time for orientation for new board members. Right now, it says to have them have an orientation, but I've been hearing that people don't get anything from their board chairman, so maybe if we put it in there within 30 days of being appointed, our board will be a little bit more up to speed when they're starting out as new appointed members or elected members. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
E, the language is a little confusing. Each board shall provide input, regarding the department. Boards and departments are usually separate except for a couple of cases. Would like to see each committee, commission provide an annual report on activities and updates. So as it is now, we don't, as the governing body for the town, we really don't see all the action that our, town boards are doing. They do a lot of work, so it would be nice if we could get an update every year, at least yearly from them.
I thought that we have boards come in monthly.
We have some boards come in, we don't see them all though.
All
We
right,
don't always need to have, it doesn't have to be in person. If they want to just give us a little report
Okay.
of what activities are going on, that would be great to keep us more informed.
okay.
I put in compensation, there's section 4.2 compensation. Look at how other local towns or towns of similar size provide compensation of boards.
Wh-
I just put that in there because I hear a few surrounding towns give board members a stipend. I'm not necessarily in favor of that, but I heard from other people that they think maybe we would get more board members being out there. So it's just something to consider.
Okay.
Chapter 5, first select woman or woman. Overall, I would like to charge the Charter Revision Commission with looking at changing our town government to first select person and as chief executive officer of the town's or town management form of government. Now, I know we did discuss this and had it during the last charter revision, and it got voted down by the town, I believe. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Okay, but since then, we've added positions in town hall, so I would like to have them look again to see how town managers form of government might work better for us in the town of Seymour.
Okay.
Section 5.1, if first select person form of government remains with a full-time first select person, keep the current language with restriction from holding other civil offices with and provides monetary compensation.
I thought that was in their charter already. It is in the charter.
It is in there, that's why I said to keep, if we keep it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I am in favor if it was a part-time for select person or, the other type of government. I've seen that with smaller towns like Sprague or whatever, these small northeastern towns. They do have a part-time or first select person who also may be a state senator or representative. But I just from my own perspective of being in that state representative role and sitting on the board of selectmen, I just don't think it would be fair to the town of Seymour if our chief operating, I guess our first select person was not there full time. Let's see, section
they couldn't be. Trust me.
5.3, officers of board of select persons. This goes back to section 4.1 about appointing a secretary from among the board members, which Fred is our current secretary. So it's just redundant, and I don't believe we need it in there.
Yep.
Chapter 6, Board of Select Persons, Compensation and General Powers and Duties. This one was, okay, so I would like to see this change from votes cast for losing candidate for first selectman or first select woman shall not be considered as votes cast for a seat on the Board of Select Person. I would like to see that the losing candidate have a seat on the Board of Select Person. Other towns do this, and my feeling is if somebody's invested in running, they should have a seat. It's unfortunate with like Phil running last year, and he does not have a seat on the board. He had a wealth of knowledge that he could have been adding to the town right now. It's something that I think it's worth us looking into. Next is chapter 12, appointed boards. Economic Development Commission 12.3, review for possible changes to increase membership to 7. Look for alternatives such as an economic development corporation. I don't know how that works. I know other towns have that, but I know that Seymour's struggling with our economic development, so maybe it's something that we should be looking at.
We're actually growing.
12.5, Board of Ethics. I would like to see the Board of Ethics at least annually need to update the Code of Ethics. I don't think it's been updated a long time. 12.17, Treasurer. I would like to have it added in that the town treasurer shall not hold another case position by the town of Seymour. Section 12.19, Emergency Management Director. It was what I'm going to have to look up the charter right now, 12.19. My question was in accordance with section 7.5 of this charter. Oh, I was unable to find that reference. So I could be wrong, it could be in there. But we that language. And also, I know we're talking about an emergency management director. We're going to need to strengthen up that role and decide what we're going to do. I know that we've been looking to find out if we're going to have a part-time or however we're going to do it. We should leave a space in the charter, though, so when we do decide that, we have room to add that in.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 13, and I'm not clear on all this. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but the town employees in the charter, we only have, that I defined, was town clerk, tax collector, and manager of human resources. There are a few referenced in other areas, but we don't have everyone in there. And when we reference the municipal operations, the org chart, and I believe it's in our packet now, there's several
Yes.
other positions that I don't see in the, excuse me, in the charter, but they're on our organizational chart. So I don't know if we need to add those positions into the charter. If that's how it's done.
Brian? Hold on, Teresa. I mean, and that's a good discussion point, Teresa, because should we be listing positions in the charter? Because as towns, as we change, right, as we grow, as we change, should we be limiting ourselves to positions in a charter? I mean, that's what our HR director is for, right? Or am I wrong?
You're correct, because the charter is not easily changed, as you know. It's a process, it's an expensive process, it's a time-consuming process to do a charter revision. Again, it should just be defining your form of government, the essential powers of government, and the functions, not, I hate to use the word micromanaging, but not micromanaging the specific departments you may need in the government and how they're structured. As technology evolves, we may need more emphasis or a bigger technology department, for instance, perhaps less of a whatever department, or as the town grows in certain directions,
Yeah,
you may
very
need more of one or something different. I don't think that belongs in the charter. That's something that's an administrative function that you folks sitting in this room should be doing.
So really, that'd be more of a removal of that chapter 13.
Because-
the two of them are statutory positions, town clerk and the other one, the tax collector.
Right.
They have powers under the statute.
Correct, under state.
Those are statutes, but right now, we are looking for an assessor, right? And sorry, Teresa, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is a good talking point, right? The assessor. Our town charter clearly states that our assessor must be a full-time town employee. It is very hard to find an assessor, full-time, for what we as a town our size can pay. And our charter is limiting, because, during budget season last year, we said, oh, well, we could do a shared service, because the government is state of Connecticut wants us to do shared services to save costs, but our town charter is not allowing us to do that.
You're absolutely correct, and that's a great example, Madam First Selectwoman, is something just like the assessor and a shared services or contract.
Okay.
And a number of towns are doing that. We're seeing that now with assessors in particular. Smaller towns that don't need a full-time licensed certified assessor, perhaps an assistant at a lower salary range, can do a lot of those duties.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Teresa, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Unfortunately, Brian was breaking up a little bit. I couldn't hear everything he said, but I think just nailing down to my point was we have some positions in there and not some others. So either maybe we should take out the ones, like you were just saying, not have them in the charter. But right now, it's the way it looks. We just have a few in the charter, some not in there. It's like pretty haphazard.
All right, well, Brian said town clerk and tax collector, because they are state statutes.
Okay. So we have a lot of other ones in there that maybe they should look at and take out of the charter.
Correct, go ahead.
Okay. And lastly, chapter 16, minority representation. I would just like to see if maybe possibly changing the membership of the 5-member boards to have 2 minority representatives on that board.
Don't five,
And,
oh, well, no.
and I was just going to say, back to Bob's first thing about calling in. Yes, I'd like to see something in there so that, when we can't be there in person, we are able to still represent the people that elected us to the board. And the other part was, Trish was talking a lot about the strategic planning, I believe. We don't, I find that under, I don't know if it's underneath the ordinances, I don't believe it's in the yellow or our full-time charter there. But the strategic strategic planning, you know, I hear a lot about it, I know they came before us in March, but there's no meeting, and for life of me, I get to see a strategic plan. So I don't know where that's going to go into, if we're going to have it in the charter, or just if we can have some more information as the governing body of what's going on in the town and what direction we're headed in, is something that I'd like to look at.
Okay, and to that note, February 4th, we will be talking about our strategic plan February 4th, as I agree there should be something in the charter to represent that. But yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's it, and I believe that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
If I may, Madam First Selectwoman,
Absolutely.
just to remind this body, under the state statutes, you may, as the Board of Select Persons who have established the Charter Revision Commission, make recommendations for consideration by the commission. The commission, bless you, that's a required term, they shall consider all of the recommendations you make. The commission may consider anything else they'd like to. Once you've opened up the charter, which you have, they can look at anything else. And again, the first meeting is the 27th of January. You can and may want to come to some or all of those meetings, or send something to them in writing to consider comments. What I've done is trying to get my arms around it. I've looked at everything you folks have said, all of your recommendations, and I put them into silos, basically. And I came up with a number of resolutions, proposed resolutions that you can make asking the Charter Revision Commission to take up certain items. I'll hand these out in a second. You can adopt them as one resolution. You can pick and choose which of these you'd like to send to the Charter Revision Commission. For instance, one of them says that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends that the Charter Revision Commission consider and review all town boards, commissions, and officials, including Emergency Management Director, including but not limited to jurisdiction and operation. And that specifically tells them that, and we have your specific suggestions as well that they'll be made aware of. Another one says that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends the Charter Revision Commission consider the form of town government. If that's something you want them to do, you can package those two together. You can eliminate one of the two. Another one is that the Commission consider whether the P&Z Commission should be elected or appointed. Again, this is a laundry list of things I'll hand out that you can consider any or all of these as part of your resolution, as opposed to very specific items that you've all brought up, which would be a little more unwieldy for them.
You generalize.
I just took silos and I tried to look at everything that each one of you said and put them into one of these silos to try to cover everything. So then you folks can decide which of these, all of these, none of these you want to send over to the commission.
I would read them out loud into the minutes. How's that? Okay. On item number 1, resolve.
Someone to make a motion as you read them?
Sure. Can you do that or no?
Yeah.
Or does Al
I
need
think-
to do
Can
that?
we do that, Fred?
Well, we know we'll have,
We
We'll
could
accept that as
motion
she reads them.
each resolution, or as the entire document as a whole.
we can do
Let's
that.
do the terms.
We'll do the,
All the paragraphs, then you can second it and discuss it, and maybe if you don't like one, you can vote to amend the resolution to take that one item out, or you can send all of them.
okay. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends the Charter Revision Commission consider and review all town boards, commissions, and officials, including Emergency Management Director, including but not limited to jurisdiction and operations. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends the Charter Revision Commission consider whether the Planning and Zoning Commission should be elected or appointed. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends the Charter Revision Commission consider revisions to the town's purchasing, bidding, and appropriations and budget process. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommend that the Charter Revision Commission consider provisions regarding remote meetings. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommend that the Charter Revision Commission consider the process and requirements for creation of meeting agendas. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends that the Charter Revision Commission consider the form of town government. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends that the Charter Revision Commission consider revisions of Charter Section 6.1 regarding the process for considering votes cast for the first election, for the election of the first select person in Board of Select Persons. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends that the Charter Revision Commission consider revision to the Charter Section 16, minority representation. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommend that the Charter Revision Commission consider corrections to grammar and statutory inconsistencies in the current charter. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to move forth to the Charter Revision Commission, all of the resolutions read into the minutes.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion.
I move to amend the motion to add a resolution that section 14.3 be examined in its entirety and revamped.
Town meeting.
That's a town meeting?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Motion to add 214.3 to be examined.
To be examined in its entirety, the year commissioner came down.
Yeah.
Hear what you said.
Be examined in its entirety.
To be examined in its entirety.
14.3.
Yes.
14.3.
Okay, a motion is on the floor. Can I have a second?
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Second.
I just had a question under discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, okay,
Well, discussion. We're there.
we're there, but I have a motion on the
Take,
floor.
yeah, go ahead.
Motion
Take the
to
vote.
amend is on the floor.
A motion to amend is on the floor. A second by Bob Finley. Discussion?
Teresa, discussion?
Yes, and what did you reference on chapter 16? I didn't get what you were talking about there.
It was 14.3 that Fred added. Okay, sorry. Resolved that the Board of Select Persons hereby recommends that the Charter Revision Commission consider revisions to the Charter Section 16, minority representation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
I would just add that instead of reviewing in its entirety and also consider
What section, sorry?
14.3.
14 by 3, okay.
Right?
Go ahead.
That's what we're talking about.
Well, gee, section
Oh,
16,
because you
okay.
went to the other one.
Yeah.
14.3 be examined in its entirety, but I would think that we should also suggest maybe its elimination. Is that what you mean by just examine, Fred, just so that they could talk about it and bring it up for possible
Well, I think-
tweaking or elimination?
I think there should be revisions to it. You know, it should be streamlined.
I mean, I'd like to strike it, but
That's why I put in as the third one down, revisions to the town purchasing, bidding, appropriations, and I used the catch-all budget process to try to catch all of this. Whether it's your town meeting, adjourn town meeting, just that was when, really how to go back, how to vote on, something that's all encompassing. Town really wanted us to look at the town budget process.
okay.
Okay.
That specifics really, because
Yeah.
Kurt, you made a comment before on the timing that we were considering on adding. Yeah. Is there something that we could add on that or no? Was there something there? You made a comment that it made sense when you said it, surprisingly. No, but it tied back to the timing when plans would be.
That's all kind of encompassing.
Yes, so, I mean, you can certainly add something to that, to a resolution very similar to what Selectman Stanek did. Or, I mean, Brian and I have been taking notes. We'll be at every Charter Revision Commission meeting, so we'll be conveying a lot of the thoughts of the board. We'll have all
We
of your
capture
notes
that.
as well, so if you guys can't make it specifically, we can at least bring up certain things. But again, this is what you're voting on, is just stuff that they must report back
Right,
on.
understood. Okay.
Okay, so there's a second There is a discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Aye.
Abstentions? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
Point of order, that's the amendment.
Right.
That's with the amendment. Oh, sorry.
That was the amendment of 14.3.
Yep,
So now we need to vote on the main motion.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you,
And just for clarity
Mr.
for the board
Parliamentary.
secretary, that was just to add, Selectman Stanek, that resolution with the rest of the resolutions that have already been.
I just wanted to be very specific about that section.
Yep.
Just want to make sure it's clear.
So now can I have a motion to move this to the Charter Commission
You have a motion already.
in its entirety?
You have a motion and it was seconded, and then it was amended, so now it's before you as amended.
Yeah, I still would, I want to add an amendment because I would still like to see a section that is, I'd like to make an amendment supporting a new section of the town's intent to support a long-term strategic plan with a reporting of boards, commissions, and committees and their function to that support.
I looked up
I
because I'm
second
trying
it.
to figure out how to write. Hold on. Amend to add a new section to the charter in regards, referencing
Of
our,
the town's intent to support a long-term strategic plan. And the board, and the town boards, commissions, and committees' role in supporting
Reporting.
and annual reporting. Help me out, Bob.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the wording.
I'm still writing.
It's okay.
Amend the new,
Within each's realm.
From each board. From each board.
Yeah, responsibility, realm of responsibility.
Well, you can have them do an annual report to you, but if you're asking for their commitment to support a strategic plan, and it's
Well,
like
operation.
commitment of my children to be on their best behavior at grandma's house. It doesn't, what does that mean? What is that?
I mean, that in supporting the strategic plan that's outlined and given to them for their
They
function.
have a role, they have a function, there's a town strategic plan.
Right.
You're just saying don't go rogue, but they may say we are supporting the plan. They may have a different interpretation of the plan and how to support it that you may. We all consider the same.
well,
road.
wait. Well, but you got to remember the way we devise the strategic plan. They have the ability to be able to adjust it. It's not like it's a set in stone, right?
Yeah.
The plan is really it's
It's
the town's
fluid.
initial mission, and there's a kickstart, but they can adjust that plan based on the needs. So it isn't.
Is your
it's
plan
not a-
that specific? It's going to have that specific deliverables that they're
It's
showing?
more the process of following it. It's not even so much like because you don't want it. You don't want it to just kickstart and then go and go dead, right? You want to make sure that it's sustained.
There are deliverables with
adjusted.
timeframes, but those deliverables and timeframes can be adjusted because it is meant to be fluid based on current need.
Correct. Better said. I'm trying to think of the wording that would. What do you have in there now?
Amend to add a new section to the charter of the town's intent to support the town's strategic plan, boards, town committee, commissions, and report, an annual
about-
report.
Support the town's strategic plan process. And reporting timelines? Is that better?
And an annual report to the Board of Selectmen, I guess.
Yeah, reporting
That's specific
structure,
enough.
Reporting
And a
structure.
reporting, okay, and its reporting structure. Annual
Support a
report.
town strategic plan and submit an annual report by,
Structure.
Well, I think if you just say an
A
annual
reporting
reporting
structure.
structure.
And a
Okay.
recording instructor. And it's a recording instructor. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So add a new section to the charter of the town's intent to support the strategic plan.
A
And-
long-term strategic plan. Sorry.
I didn't take shorthand. Support the town's long-term strategic plan and submit an annual report structure.
And the creation of an annual report structure.
I hate you all. Submit and create an annual report structure.
Reporting.
Okay? Support the town's long-term strategic plan and submit and create an annual reporting structure.
Great.
Okay,
That's-
there's a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Motion by Trish, second by Bob. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Noes? Abstentions? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0 on this amendment to add the strategic plan. Any further discussion? Any further amendments? With no further discussion and no further amendments, can I have a motion to move this to, no, we don't need a motion to move this, all right, we're done.
You gotta vote
There you go.
Now we
Could I
vote
have
on the whole
a
thing.
vote on the whole thing
as amended.
as amended?
Aye.
Ayes?
Aye.
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 Noes?
Aye.
Abstentions? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
And then,
Oh, go ahead.
Can I just get a copy of that when you type it up?
Once it's all typed up, we will send a copy out to all the
Thank you.
board's members. Thank you. Okay. Number 10, ordinance committee discussion and possible action authorizing the use of an automatic traffic enforcement safety device. This has been open, now it goes out to public for 45 days. We have to post it, correct?
Except like.
I didn't say blight, I said authorizing the use of an automatic traffic enforcement safety device.
One at a time. Yes, that's correct.
I'm doing one at a time. Right? Okay, that goes, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to move forward the authorizing the use of automated traffic enforcement safety devices.
Okay, motion by Trish. Did you second? Second by Al Bruno. Discussion. This is the automatic traffic enforcement that the police commissioners and the police department wrote, that they pushed it to us. It's per state statute. We changed nothing. We went out, we had our public open meeting. We posted it for 10 days. Now we have to go out for 45 days, I believe. Then it will come back to us and it will become an ordinance, right? Okay. Open burn. Can I have a motion?
Motion to move forward with the open burden ordinance.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion. This open burn was written by the fire marshals. It's per the Connecticut General State Statute, and it gives them the ability to enforce and ticket and fine those that are burning when there is a no burn allowed. This has been written by state statute. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Noes?
Aye.
Abstains? Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. I would like to table blight. Have a motion
Motion to table blight.
I'd like to make a motion to table the blight discussion on number 10C.
Thank you, Al.
Second.
Second by Trish. All in discussion? There's still discussion going back and forth with the land use, blight enforcement, and the ZEO to get this tightened up. They're going to be back to us February 4th to discuss some more. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No,
Aye.
noes, abstentions. Chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Appointments, there are no, sure there are no appointments. In your packet, you will, well, that's really, yep, that's under correspondence. There are no appointments. Transfers, there's no transfers. Tax refund and abatements, in your packet, you will see that there is a tax refund and abatement from Christina Swanson, our assistant tax collector. Please look over and make sure that there are no, I keep forgetting that word. Conflicts of interest. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Trish,
Second.
second by Al. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Noes, abstention, chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you. Correspondence is in your packet. You know, there was, can I just look at yours, please? Thank you. In your packet, you will see there's a list of all the updated boards, elected, appointed boards that we have in town. We've gone through them. We made sure that everything is up to date for the term length, the sworn-in date, and the expiration date. As it was just something that was brought to our attention last week, that there was some kind of, that not everybody had access to it. You know, the town clerks get it when we appoint them. They have the people come in, they sign it, and they have the records there. And there's a living, breathing document in the first select person's office that we keep track of. But we went through it with our town clerk. We went through it to make sure that all our boards have the right amount of people, that the minority and minority representation, whether it's a D, an R, or a U, are on the boards. And we have now given this out to all the board members, so it will show that if there's any open positions. There's currently, I think, one open position now. Who just resigned? Oh, on, it's in the packet. We have one open position on the Planning and Zoning Commission as an alternate. I sent a email out to the Democratic Committee because it was a Democratic that resigned. So I sent an email out to Phil Willoughby, the chair, Teresa, and Fred. I believe I put you on that email to let them know that we need a name. And we have a resignation from the Recreation Commission. I need to fill that. I sent an email out to Rich Demko that we need an R for that because Steve Ditchia resigned from the Recreation Commission because he no longer lives in Seymour. So this list is now up to date. There you go, Trish. Your list is up to date. Thank you. Everybody's list is up to date. Public comment. Is there any public comment? No public comment because there is no public here. Select person's comment. We will go to Bob Finley.
I have nothing to do.
Trish.
I'm okay this evening.
You are? Okay. Al?
Yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. There's a lot of stuff going around. People are sick, so I hope everybody is staying healthy and enjoying our winter. We're finally getting some snow, but good meeting tonight. Very productive. Thank you.
Yeah. Fred?
I agree, this was a very good meeting. We accomplished quite a bit. And I would also like to congratulate the newly appointed principal for Seymour High School, Paul Lucky, who has served as an assistant principal at Seymour High School. And we are seeing the retirement of Jim Freund, and we're going to honor him at the next meeting.
Yes, you will. Great, thank you. Teresa?
I'd just like to acknowledge that Seymour Snow Brigade, the volunteers that came together at the middle school who volunteer, and I guess they get some community hours out of it to help seniors and anybody that's disabled. This is the true meaning of Seymour, is the volunteerism, and I just want to commend anyone that's out there doing this and their parents that are supporting it. It's just, I'd like to see more of this in Seymour, and I think this is just great, showing our town some leadership. One other thing is the Four Chaplain service. I just want to remind everybody that it's on February 3rd. It's at 7 p.m. at the Congregational Church this year. If you've not been to this production, let's call it, it's a service memorializing the four chaplains who gave their lives on the Dorchester. They gave up their life for service. It is very, very moving and touching. If you haven't done it, you have to experience it at least once. I want to ask about, I saw there's a new park bench at Chatfield School, not Chatfield School, Chatfield Park, and it's in memory of someone. I'm not sure if we have a process of doing that in town, if it's through the parks. I mean, is there some kind of, I don't know if we have a standard or anything out there. Do you know that?
I think, I don't know of any standard. I did know then the Parks Commission that it went through the community center for a new park at Chatfield. I think a family donated some money and they wanted a park bench there, but that went through the community center and parks. Cool.
Okay. Well, there is one at Chatfield Park too, so I just don't know if we should have some kind of, format going forward for people to be able to do these, and maybe we could plan it out better, where they're going to be going. And I did have a concern. It was a beautiful brand new bench on a beautiful new concrete platform, but the concrete's cracked on the corner and it looks like it's going to break off right where it was bolted in. So maybe we can have Parks or whoever, Public Works, look at it and see if it can be repaired, or they're going to have to put a new pad down.
I think Public Works is aware of it, and I believe Frank said that they're going to go out in the springtime and put the concrete in. But the family wanted to see the park bench put in, and they abided by the family's wishes, even though knowing that the concrete was not the right time to put concrete in.
Okay, all right. And then I believe at the last meeting, Kurt said he was going to have the debt service model for us for projections for Bungay, the new project at Bungay School. Will we be getting that soon?
Hold on. Oh, he's trying to get the microphone to work. There it goes.
As the email stated that I sent out earlier today, because we wanted to have enough time for tonight to focus on the charter revision, that was moved to February 4th.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't see that one yet. Thank you. And then lastly, everybody just keep warm where you are right now. I hear it's a little cold up there.
Oh, yeah, it's a little cold up here, Teresa. I don't know what it is in Florida. I heard you guys may be getting.
It's about 60. It's cold. Everybody's got fleece on down here.
Yeah, you might be getting some snow.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So under my comments, I have a couple of big comments. I'm sorry. Bungay Road, Aquarian did meet with town engineer. They did agree that paving the road was the wrong thing to do at this time of the year. Aquarian still has 2 to 3 offsets they need to do. It's about 3 days of work. They are going to agree to sweep the road from the gravel. Construction is going to start in March. As we know as a board, we already approved this. So they're going to start in March. Construction by Bungay School will be done in the summertime. They're going to give the notice to bid, notice to proceed February 3rd. We said 4 phases. We're going to have a meeting, a public hearing, middle of February, end of February. The elevator at the community center is going to get started next month. The roof is done. HVAC should be done within 90 days once they send their notice in. The police, the low bidder, they're still waiting on the bonding for that. We had our budget summit this past, today's Tuesday, Monday. Last Wednesday, we had our budget summit. We met with all the department heads. They presented their budget, what's their wish list. I've been working with them. Today I met with the police department to go over theirs. I'm meeting with Jay Vieira to go over the finance department, the tax assessors, the collectors, and the town clerks, as well as the Economic Development Commission. Their budget, Culture and Arts submitted theirs. Every department has turned in their budget as required by February 1st. So as we get them, we'll be getting them over to Monica, who's the Board of Finance Secretary. She'll be putting the binder together. Board of Finance meets next Tuesday. Budget workshops will be held the Monday and Wednesdays in February here in the Norma Drummer Room. They're open to the public, so if anybody has any questions about any departments and their budgets, this is the place to go to ask the questions of the department heads, to ask the questions of the Board of Finance. And I did speak to the chair, and I said there needs to be public comment in the beginning and in the end.
Thank you.
You're welcome. because people have questions. This is a big thing. It's the people's right to vote, and it's the people's right to know what is going on and how much money is being spent and why you need X amount of money. So that starts Monday and Wednesdays. I'm going to try to do them Facebook Live. I can't promise they're going to be done Facebook Live. I can't promise I'm going to have somebody here to YouTube it. The best thing is to come to the meetings and to ask the questions instead of guessing and just saying, oh, well, they're getting more money because they're doing this. Figure that the Board of Finance and the department heads are the ones to ask. The police department did have, they hired 3 new supervisors from internally. One of the supervisors was our SRO officer for the high school. So they posted and they have not received anybody that wanted to go. There was no signups for it. So now that is something that the police department and the Board of Ed are going to have to work on what they're going to do. I know the police department is not providing an SRO because they don't have one. So now the Board of Ed has to look at maybe putting another school security officer up there. I'm not quite sure. But we'll go from there. The Snow Brigade, it was wonderful speaking to Mrs. Halligan. Her son came up with this idea, the 2 kids as their service project for the 8th graders. It worked out wonderful for a lot of our residents. What we are hoping for is that not only does it go for snow, but it goes for mowing and the lawns as well out there. And I just want to offer my condolences to Dr. Compton as her sister passed away yesterday. So it was very sad. So she'll be heading down to Tennessee. And I want to congratulate Mr. Lucky on becoming the principal at Seymour High School. And Mr. Freund will be here in February to receive his, for us to congratulate him on his long-term tenure at Seymour High School. He was waiting the birth of his first grandchild today, and that's why he wasn't here today. So congratulations, Mr. Freund, on the birth of your first grandchild. Congratulations, Mr. Lucky, on becoming the principal of Seymour High School. They both work very hard and very diligently for them. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting at 8:39 p.m. Thank you. Go ahead.
For the Snow Brigade, do they create do they have a sponsor as a someone in the school that's sponsoring it?